all these beautiful women on the screen. You guys give yourselves a hand for taking some time out this afternoon to do something for yourself. As women, we're always doing for everybody else. Raise your hand if you would agree. Either your physical hand or your electronic hand, right? Where you're going to take an hour today and do something just for yourself. And you know what? That's okay. Not only is it okay, it is great. It's something that you must do. And so we're so excited to share with you today, celebrating Women's History Month, our Woman to Woman webinar. I'm going to go ahead. We know we still have people joining in, but we always honor the people that logged in on time. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started. All righty, Stephanie, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, fantastic. So once again, welcome, welcome, welcome as we celebrate Women's History Month, the month of March. And it's all about a conversation between women. You guys, spring is coming. You know, the sun is shining today in Atlanta, which is where I am. Now, it's still a little chilly when you go outside, but the sun is shining brightly. Flowers are beginning to bloom. The dogwoods, if you live in the South, man, they're starting to get that beautiful foliage. And so spring is always a time of the year when I think about renewal, right? And so today is all about you taking a few minutes to go through some renewal, to think about what renewal means to you. And guys, we are speaking over your life today that 2021 is a year of prosperity for you. We know that God is a God of abundance. We live in a world of abundance. And so there's no lack of opportunities for you to prosper. Specifically, three areas we're going to focus on today: spiritual, physical, and financial prosperity. And then you're going to get a chance to hear from our awesome guest speaker who is prospering in all of those areas. And she's going to share with you some ideas on how she has done it and how you can do it too. So let me take a look at who we have on here this today. I see we've got the beautiful Kiera. We've got Rashida, Zenobia, Kristen, Kim, Felicia, Tina, who else? Delphine, Maxine, Alicia. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Tabitha, Selena, Sade, Tyranny, and more and more and more. So welcome to all of those whose name I spoke and those whose name I didn't. We're so glad to have you here. Let me introduce myself as I get our webinar started. My name is Renee Turner. I grew up in St. Petersburg, Florida, really large family, 9 kids. My dad was a pastor, lots of love, lots of spiritual values, no, not very much money, but I was taught that the key to success was to get a good education so you could get a good job, then be a hard worker, and you be able to live your dream life. So I moved here to Atlanta to attend college. I went to Georgia Tech. I got an industrial engineering degree, met my husband Mel our freshman year at Georgia Tech. We started dating our sophomore year and ended up getting married right after graduation. After graduating, I went to work for a very large corporation, and I had an engineering degree. I was working as a supervisor in a manufacturing facility, and 2 years into my wonderful corporate career, I was miserable. Now, I know nobody on this screen can relate to that, but that's where I found myself. I followed all the rules, done everything they said to do, and I was miserable, guys. I didn't like my hours. I was working nights. I didn't like the level because I hadn't got promoted, and I didn't like my income. The one pay raise I had gotten was very small, and I was really thinking about options when somebody from the company that I'm a senior vice president with now, Primerica, came and met with my husband and I, referred by my father, who was involved in the business in Florida, talked to us about getting our financial house in order, but also about the opportunity for us to take control of our career path and really create the life that we dreamed of having. Started in the business part-time, had no idea that I was going to make a career change. I thought I was going to go to grad school, get a master's degree, and continue to pursue that traditional track. But after a few years here, having a daughter, being a stay-at-home mom, I made a decision to make a career change, that I didn't want to go back to a corporate setting. I had my second daughter almost right around the same time that I made this decision to make a career change. And guys, it was the best decision that I ever made. I'm now a senior vice president with Primerica, earning near term 400,000 a year. Our income will go over 400,000 within the next 60 days. I'm so honored to serve on Primerica's Women in Primerica board of directors, all about empowering women, and on the executive board of Primerica's African American Leadership Council, which is made up of men and women in Primerica who earn $200,000 a year minimum to upwards of $3 million a year. And we're all about mentoring and supporting the African American community in building success financially through entrepreneurship. And I'm also a published author. So let's talk about women's history, right? Well, I didn't know this. Maybe you knew it. It started out as Women's History Day. You know, they didn't start out giving women a whole month. The first Women's History Day was in 1909, and it became Women's History Month in 1987. Now, guys, think about our history here in the United States, no matter what your racial or ethnicity background is, right? Or, you know, whether you came over, voluntarily, or like my ancestors, we came over as enslaved persons, right? Or you immigrated here. Women did not have rights, right? The 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote, was signed into law on August 26, 1920. But at that time, there were all these other laws that said, well, technically, women can vote. What they really were talking about was white women could vote, but Native American women, Black women, Asian American women, Latino women were still prohibited from voting. It wasn't until 1965, when President Lyndon Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act into law, that all women could vote. You know, that was on the through all the work done in the civil rights movement and that women had done in the women's rights movement, guys, that all people got a chance to vote, the opportunity to vote, the right to vote. And as women, no matter what our background, ethnicity, or race was, we were given the right to vote. I hope you exercise that right every time the opportunity arises. Despite where we started out in this country, guys, as women, as African American women, women of color, women have always found a way to excel. So here are some of the first. Marie Curie was the first woman to receive 2 Nobel Prizes. Aretha Franklin was the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Amelia Earhart was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. Marian Anderson became the first African American to sing with the Metropolitan Opera in New York. Misty Copeland was the first African-American female principal dancer with the prestigious American Ballet Theater. Are you feeling proud yet? Some more first. Madeleine Albright became the first female Secretary of State in 1997. Halle Berry was the first African American to win an Academy Award for Best Actress. Ursula Burns was the first African American woman CEO of a Fortune 500 company, that was Xerox. Sonia Sotomayor is the first Hispanic Supreme Court justice. And of course, you guys, history was just made in January of this year. Kamala Harris is the first woman and first woman of color to serve as vice president. So I think we just need to take a moment and celebrate women that have broken all kinds of barriers in this country. Can you guys just take a minute and celebrate what women have already done?
Absolutely.
All right. Yes. So I hope you feel great already, okay? But guys, here's the truth. The women that I just talked about, they made history. But guess what? Now it's your turn. It's your turn to make history, to tell your story, her story, right? And so our goal today is that you will trust and believe that you will prosper in these 3 critical areas, that you will prosper spiritually, that you will prosper physically, and that you will prosper financially in the year 2021. I hope that you're excited about that. You believe that. We believe it for you. And we want to just give you some help today in believing that and then doing the right things to make it happen. So let's talk first of all about spiritual prosperity. Spiritual prosperity. And guys, I could talk about this all day long, but I just picked three things that really are important to me in the arena of spiritual prosperity. Number one, you have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. Women that are on here today, queens that are on here today, do you know who you are, right? See, Psalms 139:14 says, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are not here on accident. There's nothing about you that's accidental. There's nothing about you that is a mistake, right? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. God had you in mind when he created the world, right? He knew you before he knit you together in your mother's womb. And spiritually, wherever you are spiritually, I want you to be connected to the truth that you're here on earth on purpose, for a purpose, right? You are clothed with strength and dignity. That's from Proverbs 31, verse 25, right? It's not the labels that you have on the physical clothes, it's who you are as woman. You're clothed with strength and dignity, right, man? Women, we are strong, right? Man, only we are able to give birth and go through the pain of childbirth to continue to allow, the world to be populated. Now, look, the party doesn't get started with us by ourselves, right? But that baby does not emerge unless they're birthed through a woman, right? And so when you're feeling weak, when you're lacking self-esteem, when you're wondering, do you have worth? When somebody has said something to you that's diminishing your self-esteem, I want you to remember that today Renee told you, you got to know who you are, fearfully and wonderfully made. You're clothed with strength and you're clothed with dignity. The second thing I'm going to encourage you to do in terms of spiritual prosperity is you have to speak who you are. Man, on a daily basis, you have to speak who you are. Proverbs 18:21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death. The power of life and death. And I want you to think about it. What are you speaking over yourself? What are you speaking over your life? Are you using words to yourself about yourself that are words of death? Or are you using words to yourself about yourself that are words of life? You have to speak life over yourself every day. See, so often as women, we want to speak life over our children, speak life over our spouse or our significant other, speak life over the other people in our lives, our parents, but then we speak death over our lives. We talk about to ourselves what we can't do, what mistakes we made, what we're not worth, right? How valuable we aren't. And guys, I challenge you to make a decision today that every day moving forward, you're going to choose to speak life over yourself. So you got to know who you are, and then you have to speak who you are. And number three, you have to do what you were created to do. I started out saying, I know that God has you here, not only on this earth, here on this webinar today, on purpose for a purpose, right? And you were created to do great things. You were created to achieve at a very high level in different areas of your life, in your family life, absolutely, and in your career. But especially today, I want you guys to be thinking about, right, the spiritual, the physical, and the financial in relationship to you. That you're here on purpose, that there's no other person on earth that can fulfill your purpose for being here. You are unique. Don't try to be somebody else, right? There's only one you. Just spend the rest of your life being the best you that you can be, right? And so make a decision that you're going to do what you were created to do. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do what? All things through him who strengthens me. Does that say some things? I know y'all are muted, but I hope you're saying, no, it doesn't say some things, most things. It says what? All things. That means whatever you were created to do, whatever your purpose here is on earth, that you can do it. that God will give you the strength to do it, but you got to do your part, right? And so, guys, I speak over you today words of life that you will prosper spiritually this year, because at a higher level than ever before, you're going to know who you are, you're going to speak who you are, and you're going to be determined that you're going to walk the path that's laid out for you. You're going to do what you were created to do. Let's talk about physical prosperity. Physical prosperity. All right. So, guys, this is taking care. Spiritual prosperity is taking care of ourselves internally, right? But we also need to take care of our body, of the external part of ourselves, right? And understand that we can prosper physically. And in physical prosperity, it's not about making somebody else pleased with how we look, or the number on the scale, or what the tape measure says when we measure our waist or whatever. No, it's about prospering for yourself, right? And so, guys, make a decision that, you know what, if I haven't been participating in some form of exercise, I'm gonna do that for myself, not for somebody else, for myself, right? What are the benefits of regular exercise? Well, it helps you combat against diseases, right? Also, it improves your mood, because those endorphins start firing, right? And even though you may be tired, you didn't want to do it at the beginning of that workout, you might have hated it the whole time you were doing it. But guys, what happens is the rest of the day is that those endorphins have kicked in, and you're going to be in a better mood the rest of the day. Exercise boosts energy. It's like, you're like, how can it do that? Because it exhausts me. I know, but this, it's just something about the physiology of it, is that you become more energized, and you end up having more energy when you exercise on a regular basis. And then it also promotes better sleep. This machine that God gave us, this human body, it has to rest. And when you exercise, it promotes you being able to have better quality sleep when you sleep. Also, guys, you want to really commit to a level of healthy eating. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. You decide what healthy eating is. We all know there are different ways that you can eat healthy. And so you know them all, right? You might just eat clean, or be a vegetarian or a pescatarian, or you might decide you want to be vegan, or live a keto life, whatever it is, right? But just being conscious of what you are putting into this beautiful body that you have, and focus on eating healthy, because there are benefits of healthy eating. Number one, it increases longevity, right? It doesn't guarantee it, but if you eat healthy, you're more likely to live a longer life. It boosts productivity, right? There's some foods that you eat, man, they weigh you down, they make you sleepy, and you're less productive, right? But when you eat healthier, it actually allows you to become more productive, get more done in the time allotted. It fights disease, just like exercise, and it can help you control your weight, not because you're trying to do something, have a weight that somebody else says you should have, guys, but we know just in the realm of physical health that you want to be in relationship to your height, just a healthy weight, be, whatever that you consider that to be. And so there are benefits to healthy eating. And then lastly, guys, relaxation, downtime, taking that woosah moment, right? That moment to excel, and there exhale. And guys, there are actually benefits to relaxing, benefits of relaxation. It promotes your overall emotional well-being. And so I want to let you guys know that as women, we spend so much time taking care of everybody else. And I'm not only giving you permission today, I am encouraging you, I'm exhorting you, I am challenging you to make a decision that you're going to put self-care on the list, right? That you're going to put you at the top of the list, right? Because if you are prospering spiritually, right? And if you are prospering physically, then not only are you taking care of you, you're better able to take care of the people in your life that you love, that you do want to continue, to be there for, and to support and take care of and nurture, and all those wonderful things that you do. So today is all about you reminding yourself it's okay for me to put me at the top of the list, because if I'm my best me, then I'm going to be better able to take care of all the other people on my list and do all the other things on my list that I need to do. So, guys, I hope you're excited about prospering in these areas this year. Now, I want to just let you know that we're going to transition to talking about financial prosperity. For women, financial independence isn't just a matter of strength, it's a matter of necessity. It is completely necessary as women that we build financial independence. Longevity, we live longer than men, plus wage and opportunity inequality. When you look at jobs, women make less than men on average for doing the same work, right? So longevity plus wage and opportunity inequality mean women need to work smarter, women need to save more, and women need to be in charge of their finances. And I can't think of a better person to share with you now how you can prosper financially than our next speaker, Stephanie Lampley. In her former career, she was a corporate trainer, but she now is a regional vice president with Primerica. She is a six-figure earner, earning well over $100,000 a year. She serves on Primerica's Women in Primerica Advisory Board, and she's going to share with you how you can get more financial prosperity. So, Stephanie, we're so excited to hear what you have to share with these women today.
All right. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
All right. Hey, ladies. Thanks for that introduction, Renee. And guys, that was some great information, right, on our spiritual health, right, our physical health. And I'm going to take a minute, like Renee said, and talk about our financial health. And what I think it directly goes into is we have to think about how blessed we are to have this opportunity to actually have more control over our lives. Think about your ancestors specifically that have gone on to be with the Lord. Some of you don't have your mothers anymore, grandmothers, great grandmothers, and they did so much with so little. So we are so blessed to have an opportunity, in this day and age, in this 21st century, to be able to really to control our destinies and to do something great. So let me jump into my presentation, and we are going to make some things happen. All righty. So our ancestors, guys, they left us with so much. And we think about what they left us with, right? They left us with great family traditions, right? They left us with those incredible, delicious recipes that we know, those special Thanksgiving and Christmas recipes, and those when we eat it, we think of them and everything that they meant to us and still mean to us. Hard work ethic, incredible work ethic, strength, value of education. They talk to us about a spiritual foundation and having great values, having a sense of community. And they left us with their name. They left us with the importance of activism and giving back to the community. Guys, basically what they did was they left us with a legacy. But what I want to do is expand on what legacy is. And guys, legacy is all those things that I just talked about. But man, a great legacy as well. What we're going to do right here on earth is when we're no longer here, we can leave a financial legacy to the people that we love, right? So let's talk about how we can make that happen. And so, guys, what we know is that when you build your house, if you build it right the first time, then you're not having to rebuild it again and again and again. I don't know if you guys watch HGTV, but I love watching HGTV. And you'll see someone that they're doing some home improvements, or maybe they're buying an older home and they want to renovate it and make it more modern. And then the contractor gets in there, whether it's the Property Brothers or the hometown team or right, whoever it is, right? And they get in there and start tearing down walls, and they figured out, man, this house wasn't built right the first time. Thank God it didn't cave in on this family. We're going to build it right this time so this family doesn't have to worry about it. Well, guys, it's the same thing when it comes to our finances. See, the role of financial literacy means that as a woman, I'm responsible for educating myself. I have to learn the language of money, right? And I have to be on the lookout for every source of income that I'm going to be counting on, not just right now, but later on in retirement. And I need to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row, right? All my accounts, my insurance, everything I need needs to be in place. And so what we have to do is we got to build that financial house from the foundation all the way up to the roof, and we have to build it properly. So we're going to talk about, well, how do I do that, Stephanie, so I can leave a legacy to my kids, my grandkids, my nieces, and my nephews? Well, this is what we know. Every woman Every family needs these three accounts, right? We need to have an emergency fund. That's having at least 3 to 6 months income saved up for a rainy day, right? What's a rainy day? I have to go out of town for an unexpected family emergency. I have to get, 4 new tires, that's going to cost me $1,000. I have to replace my water heater, right? Emergencies, guys. Then you want to have your short term or your lifestyle accounts. And that's an account where you're saving a lot of times for some specific goals, right? This is the money that you're going to probably touch more often than the emergency fund and the long term account, because you're saving maybe for your next car, saving for a home, or starting a business. Maybe you're saving for your vacation next summer. Maybe you're saving for a wedding. You want to pay cash for it, right? So that's that short term or lifestyle account. And then we want to have our long term accounts. That's what we build wealth. And that's our retirement accounts, and that's the accounts for kids' college educations. And so every family needs to have all three of those accounts in place, not one of the three, not two of the three, right? All three. And you want to have them built up so that I don't have to touch my retirement money because I need to go out of town for a funeral, right? I don't want to have to take money out of my emergency fund, right, to buy my to put my down payment on my new car, or saving for my house. And so we have to be very strategic when we're putting away our investments and building up those investment accounts. So guys, you have to know the rules of money. And so the rule of 72 was discovered by Einstein. And basically it says, if you want to know how quickly your money will double, you have to take the interest rate that you're earning on that money, divide it into 72, and that's going to tell you how many years it takes that money to double. And this rule comes from money earning 1% interest doubles every 72 years. Well, guys, guess what? Bank accounts don't even pay 1%. But a lot of folks feel very comfortable depositing their money in a physical bank because they can drive past it, every day, that brick and mortar building. But trust and believe, guys, your money is really not in that building, because as soon as you make the deposit, that money is being lent out for people for homes and cars and businesses. The bank is making money on your money as soon as that deposit is made. So you have to understand that, man, if they're not going to even pay me 1%, then what is the bank really doing for me? It's just holding your money. So if you want to build wealth, you have to do what wealthy people do. Wealthy people invest. So at a 3% rate of return, right? 3 into 72, in this example, says this person's money could double every 24 years. At a 6% rate of return, this person's money could double every 12 years. At a 12% rate of return, this individual's money could double every 6 years. So look, at the end of 48 years, that 10,000 could be 40,000, or it could be 160,000, or guys, it could be $2.5 million. At the bank, guys, it wouldn't even be $20,000. So see, if I don't know the rules of money, then I might make a decision that could cost me millions and millions of dollars. And that means I'm probably not going to be able to leave a financial legacy to my family because my money wasn't growing and doubling the way it should. So we have to know the rules of money, and then we have to make sure we have those three accounts set up. Guys, this is what I want to tell you, is that everybody that are blessed to have children and grandchildren, right? What you know is you want your kids and your grandkids' life to be so much easier than yours. So this is an example, guys, of a young family, and they start putting away $25 a week. That's $100 a month for their newborn baby, their newborn grandchild. Guys, look at this. At an average of 9% in a good growth investment, we offer mutual funds. Guys, that $25 a week when that child is 18 years old is $53,000. I mean, probably all of you know someone that's pregnant right now, just had a baby. Everybody that's in that place, they're thinking about having a kid. You need to make sure they know that we do this, right? If you're in business with us, that we can help them put that legacy plan in place for their child, their grandchild, their godchild, their niece or their nephew that they care for so deeply, because that's how we're going to make a change, guys. And we start doing things right now that are going to pay off for our loved ones in the future. This is what I also know. While you're building up those accounts, you got to have a plan in place to pay off your debt. And we believe that debt, DEBT, stands for don't even buy that. Now, I'm not saying you should never use a credit card, but if you want to build wealth, you have to say, if I'm going to charge this on my credit card, I have to have a strategy to pay this off quick, fast, and in a hurry, right? So what we teach people is a concept that I'm going to show you in just a minute called debt stacking or debt snowballing. Because this is what we know, ladies. We love to treat ourselves well, right? And there's nothing wrong with going on a shopping spree and, spending money on yourself. We want to look good because that makes us feel good, guys. But you don't feel so good after you get that credit card statement, and it's something that you purchased 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, a year ago, and you still haven't paid off that card. So you have to have a strategy that if I'm going to use this card, if I'm going to go into debt, I have to have a plan to pay this debt off. So the debt stacking concept is this. This is a young family. They have the normal debts, guys. A couple of credit cards, a retail card, a car note, and a mortgage, and they're paying $2,720 every month on all of these debts. So what we're going to have them do is focus on a target debt. You're going to pay everyone every month, but you're going to focus on that one that's the target. And when you pay off that target debt, you're going to add that payment to the next liability, on your debt stacking sheet, right? So now they're sending that 220 a month that was going toward retail card number one. They're going to send it to credit card number two, right? That Visa or that MasterCard. And now when they pay off that Visa or MasterCard, now they can take that 573, add it to the car note. They're doubling up their car note, guys. So now they're going to be in a situation where they can pay the car off sooner, right? And they can take more money and now make sure that they're putting more money in their emergency fund and in their short-term account and in their long-term wealth building account. And then nothing rides better, in the words of my best friend, than a paid for car, right? And then we're going to take that 1124, guys, we're going to put it on the big car. You guys know that's the one you just can never put a dent in, right? They often say that's the Discover card because you discover that you couldn't pay it off, right? So now you pay off that big credit card, the one that was just causing, like, how do I put a dent in this? Well, 1427 a month is going to put a dent in a big credit card, balance. And now this is the last house that you want to live in. You want to leave this house as a legacy to your family, right? You want them to always have a family home. You can take that 1427, guys, accelerate that mortgage, and you're going to get that house paid off so much sooner. In this example, if a person followed this debt stacking plan within 9 years, guys, this person's totally debt free, all because they met someone from our company, they implemented the plan, they didn't stray from the plan, and now they position themselves to really get wealthy. Well, Stephanie, what is that 2720, but what can that do for me? Because if we don't know what it's going to do for us, guys, then we'll go make the mistake of going back into debt or thinking that, man, I can blow this 2720 a month and I can go get a bigger car or take more extravagant vacations. Guys, if a person took that 2020 and they invested it every month for 10 years, at an average of 9%, guys, that's an additional $530,000 they have now saved up. I promise you, pretty much anything they want to go purchase, they could probably pay cash for it, right? Because once they got debt free, they said, I'm going to catch up all the years that I wasn't investing like I wanted to, and I'm going to put a big dent, in moving towards that goal of building up my nest egg, right? So you have to have a plan to invest wisely. You have to have a plan to get out of debt. But guys, this is the other thing you have to do. You have to understand that it's going to take time to get debt free and financially independent, right? You can't just, close your eyes and click your heels 3 times and you're debt free and financially independent. So the way you protect your family and you protect your plan is you need to have personal life insurance outside of the job, right? Life insurance outside of what your mom or your grandmother pays for. This is life insurance that it's more than enough insurance to make sure that the people I love are going to be adequately protected. See, this is what we know. Folks insure everything, their homes, right? Their cars, their cell phones, their laptops. We want to make sure things that are valuable are insured. Guys, there's nothing more valuable than your life. And if you're not already an independent, wealthy person, multi-millionaire, you probably need a lot of life insurance because that can create an automatic estate, if you left this earth. And so having life insurance is a priority, right? All the other things we talked about are important, but the way that you ensure your family is going to have a life once you're no longer here, where they don't have to think about money or talk about money anymore, money is a given, is because you put that in place and you made it a priority. You guys, we know with the COVID-19 crisis, over 530,000 people have passed away from COVID-19 in the last 12 months. And because we're still not out of this crisis, even though a lot of people have gotten, one or two of their vaccines completed, there's still going to be a lot of people who don't make it to the other side. So we want to make sure everybody that we know and love, they understand you need to get your life insurance, you need to get it right now, right? And so you have that part of the puzzle taken care of, right? It's going to give you peace of mind. And as women, that's what we want, is peace of mind. So guys, the important uses for life insurance, it's what most people think about life insurance is that funeral and final expenses. And yes, that's very important. But guys, most people figure out how to bury someone. But what really matters is what's going to happen after the funeral and after the repast, right? Can the debts be paid off? Can the mortgage be paid off, right? Are the kids' college, is their education secure, right? Did I replace my income to my family? Guys, did I leave a legacy? Right? Because as a woman, this is Women's History Month. We want to make sure that we're doing something where our name is going to be thought of and spoken of highly, even we're no longer here, because we did something great to change the lives of so many people. And so, guys, you also want to make sure that, man, you got your will and trust in place. Because if those documents are not in place, then oftentimes there can be a lot of confusion after a loved one, is no longer here. Right. So that will, that trust is the document that speaks past the grave. And it really can allow healing and the grieving process to go a lot smoother when they don't have to worry about who gets what and what's supposed to happen. What were their intentions? What were their wishes? And so, guys, that legacy checklist, the will in place, the power of attorney, you want to make sure you have your healthcare proxy in place. How do you want your property and your investments distributed, right? The life insurance, we already talked about how important that is. Do you want to leave some money for some institutions that you would love to make an impact on? Maybe your church, right? Or your college, where you were able to, get a great education. And then your business, right? Hopefully you're thinking about, man, I want to have a family business too. And so making sure that things are in place, that business can run smoothly, even if you're no longer here. And so, guys, this is what we know. We have choices to make. We like to do all the great, fun things that give us short term, immediate satisfaction. And there's nothing wrong with going to get a good mani pedi, right? And having, the latest, greatest iPhone or iPad or Android, because you're a techie kind of person, or going out to dinner when we're going to be able to do that safely. And then, having those date nights, and then, having the great cable TV and all the extra things that we can subscribe to, and taking ourselves shopping. But guys, if we can do those things, then we have to know that, man, I have to also choose to make some long-term investments that are going to last well past that good feeling that these things on this page brought to me. And so this is what we know. So how do I, Stephanie, get to financial freedom, right? These are the things we have to do. We have to get an education on the wealth building concepts. And then we have to get that plan in writing, guys, because when I have a plan in writing, it has my goals, and it has timelines, it's going to keep me on track. And if I get off track, I can come back to my plan, make the adjustments, and get back on track to hitting those goals and those dreams. Guys, this is what we know. You have to have a money mentor that's going to be able to guide you through the educational process, through getting that plan in writing, who's going to be able to hold you accountable so that you can truly become debt-free and financially independent, have a great financial life, and then leave a legacy. And then, guys, what we believe too, man, the way that it's going to happen, the quickest, fastest way is finding a way to make more money. See, if you have a job, you're blessed to have your job, right? It's going to pay your food, clothing, and shelter. But for most people, their jobs are not going to get them free. And so we want to encourage you today to really consider joining us in business and positioning yourself to be able to make more income so that you can get to the life that you really desire. And I can't think of anybody better to talk to us about that today than our guest speaker out of Louisiana, Joyclen Prevost. I think she's Renee's best friend. She always talks about Joyce and Joyce and Joyce. And I love Joyce and her awesome family, her husband and her kids. And she has a grandbaby as well. So Joyce's former career was a medical transcriptionist. She's a national sales director with Primerica, guys, over 400,000 in income, knocking on the door of 500,000 in annual income. She's a member of the Women in Primerica Board of Directors, also on the African American Leadership Council Executive Board, and she's a published author. And guys, she is just a great, great woman who has lived a life where she always just lifts up other people, and she wants to open the door and get all of us through that door with us. So you guys, let's welcome to our virtual stage today, the incredible Joyclen Prevost. There you go, Renee.
So much. Thank you so much. Awesome, Stephanie. Incredible. Thank you. Do I sound okay?
You sure do.
Awesome. This has been incredible, man. I'm like, oh, I got to get my women on this call. Awesome job. I mean, I just want to say just big ups. And Renee is my BFF. Stephanie had it exactly right. What an opportunity you have to join a business and you find a friend, a confidant, things you can lay on and you can trust. And I just bless God for Renee and Mel. Kenan and I love them. So it's dittoed. And I want to just say, I want to commend Renee and the leadership team and Stephanie because empowered women empower women. Empowered women empower women. And that's what you see happening today with this platform. Women having an opportunity to get poured into spiritually, get poured into physically and financially. And I'm blessed to be a part of it, to share my story. I've been in this business now 25 years. I feel like I just got started, but I know 25 years have gone by because my children were 5 and 7 when I got started. And you go to telling your age because now they 30 and 32. And then I'm a grandmother now. A grandmother. I thought I was too young to be a grandmother, and my eyes are not big enough for my little precious angel Kennedy, who's 10 years of age. And I got started, ladies, with just a dream in my heart, goals. And I had no idea back then how to really formulate goals and time stamp them like we taught today. But I knew I didn't want to do for the next years and retire doing what I had done for 10 years, which was working as a medical transcriptionist. Because in those years I had started having my children. They were small. I was running back and forth. My daughter started playing basketball. My son, very quiet and inward, and he needed a little bit more of my time. You know how it is when you're raising children and they have different needs, and you sending them off to school. They might not be sick enough to stay home, but they need your attention. So you just wanna be there for them. So my husband and I had been married about 10 years by now, and I got a 5, a 7-year old, and I'm pretty much responsible for taking care of the home front. He's working at a plant, and he was pretty much married to his job because he worked at that plant that never closed. And after that, he had an air conditioning refrigeration business that he was born into with his dad. So he loved me. He loved our children. He gave me the option whenever I would complain, Renee, about, they don't want to give me no time off. Or if I take time off, they say you're taking off too many days. I said, just don't worry about it. Just don't pay me. And they said, well, listen, if you could afford not to be paid, you might not need your job. And I'd come home and explain all that to Kenneth, and like, can you believe how they made me feel? I mean, I'm one of the hardest working there. I got the ideas. And Kenneth's answer was just, Joyce, just quit, just stay home. He's very non-confrontational, easy going. He did not want me unhappy. And he said quit, and then I'd quit. I'd stay home 2-3 years with the kids. And then I was like, you know what? I'm tired of just talking about Dr. Seuss books and watching cartoons. And, I want to be able to get dressed and go out and talk with other adults and be challenged mentally. But what I learned, ladies, was I wanted it on my own terms. I wanted to be able to come and go like I wanted to and be able to take care of my own children and have the life of options that the job was not affording me. So I actually prayed. I prayed and I asked God to give me something that I could earn $25,000 a year. And my prayer was to help my husband pay these bills that we've acquired. And Lord, if you do that, I will be willing to work. That was my prayer, Stephanie, 25 years ago. And I tell people God did just that. My first year here, I earned $25,000. I said, Lord, what if I'd have had the faith to believe for millions way back then? Ain't no telling what God would have done sooner than that. But we know God is faithful, and he's just, and he doesn't put goals and dreams in your heart that he don't make the wherewithal and the provision He wants it for us. He's concerned about everything that concerns us. And I started in this business model that you just saw Stephanie show today. And what a blessed business is business it has been. And I want to just add also, you're blessed out of obedience. Because there's probably at least one lady on here that's looking at this today say, you know what, I like it. I hear the story. It's a good story, but it's not for me. I got you because I never would have picked this. I was a medical transcriptionist. I didn't even talk. I listened for a living. But God's word is faithful and it's true, and he blesses out of obedience. I had the heart to try. I had prayed for something, and there it was. I did the hardest thing it takes a new person to do. I started something different. And after 1 year, ladies, I resigned from the hospital. I made $25,800 my first year here part time with two small children, trying to figure out how to keep the house clean, find babysitters, and cook, and keep my husband happy. All the things that women have responsibility of doing. And sometimes you wasn't feeling like you was doing none of it good. But I was better off because now I had a business that I could come and go like I wanted. I didn't have to miss anything I didn't want to miss anymore. So I started, and after 1 year, I quit my job. 36 months later, I got inducted into the Financial Independence Council, which means I earned $100,000. $100,000, ladies, that was more money than me and my husband was both making together with our full-time jobs. And I quit. I mean, and then he was afforded an ultimatum on his job to, he had to have a knee surgery, and he was released from the doctor after a few weeks, and they said it's time to come back. You release, you come back, and you don't have a job. And he was complaining how the steel toe shoes was hurting and knee was still bothering him. And I was like, why don't you just quit? I said, why don't you just quit? I said, we have a business now. We're making $100,000 in this business. You still got the air conditioning, refrigeration. I said, Kenneth, the worst thing that could happen, you might have to go back and get another job. But what if this works? And we locked arms. We locked arms. And then our goals changed. It was no longer to just earn a living. I started believing God to get totally financially independent and go on to our wealthy places. And we started building a business. Today, we have 8 regional vice presidents that we've taught and mentored and showed how to open up outlets, doing just what you saw Stephanie show today. And now this month we will cross over $500,000 in annual income. I mean, I used to make 25,000 a year, and now we done secured during the middle of a pandemic. In the midst of a pandemic, the last year we broke our all-time highest income, which was I think 42,000. We hit $68,000. I mean, it's amazing what you can do if you decide a couple things. One, get the faith for something. God knows what's in your heart. If you decide to have the faith to go for it, not just believing it. I don't mean just having the faith to believe it, activating the faith, asking God, believing it's already so, confessing it, and then going to work in a business model like Stephanie just showed you a minute ago, and then watch what God can do. Have the faith for it. Then the second thing, I think you got to have possibility thinking. I don't care what you've messed up, what hadn't gone right up until now. You just got to know, all you got to see is one other person that has done it. And it shows you it can happen also. So I'm excited today. We get the blessed opportunity to lead our team, and we're really feeling like we're just getting started. And my daughter my daughter purchased a home. She's the youngest vice president I have. She's a millennial, which means she's a 6-figure income earning RVP. She has never had a job before. She came straight out of college in Primerica, and really she got us young again, got our organization with some younger people, and then she decided she wanted to she loves beauty and glamour. She launched a second business. She like, mama, I will still do the family business, but I want to do this. I'm like, well, go do it. Just go be great, go be great. So here we are in a family business, and just living some of our dreams and helping other people do the same thing. We have a young man that she recruited, her and him and his wife. They are $150 from going over $250,000. They're not even 40 years of age yet. Our eldest vice president, Roy Gray, is 73 years of age. He'll go over $300,000 in the next 60 days. Incredible. He was a bricklayer. We got Tina Wilson. She's at $80,000 in income. She was a pharmacy tech. Claudette Toll, she's almost 75 years of age. She's 80,000. She's about 90 days away from wearing a ring, six-figure income earner. So it's not just the Prevost family that can come in this business. What a business that you can get involved in. And it's not going to just be the Turners. It's not going to just be the Lampleys. It's going to be you that can get started in something. I didn't know anything about any of this. I just believe you have to have the heart to try. You got to have a desire to do more. And the skills that it takes to be successful in this business model, you can acquire them. You can acquire them. So in the midst of this pandemic, I started to tell you my daughter lives about an hour from from us, and my office is close to where she lives. But I started saying, you know what, Kenny, I want to be closer to my grandbaby. She comes by the office after school, and we had a little a condo close to her, but we were all cramped up in there. Y'all know how the pandemic was when it first happened. Everybody was scared to do anything. You didn't just didn't move, and then if you move, when you come back in, you just stripping naked almost, getting out. We was cramped up in this little small area, and I'm like, why don't we go and look for a house? Look for a house. We had been wanting to do it, but 4 years ago, the Lord blessed and saved my life from an aneurysm. And we were about to do it that year. And then after that, I've taken 4 years to recover. And what a business that I can take the time and focus on my health and recover, and then still earn and sustain several hundreds of thousands of dollars on an annual income. It's because of a business, though, a successful business model that you can learn. And we went out during this pandemic and found a home. And I would like to show it to you all if I could. God blessed us with it. I'll share my
Awesome.
screen.
You can show it.
We walked in it, and when we walked in it, we knew we loved it. I'll show you my family first of all. Kenneth and I and the children. That 5 and 7 year old now, a young adults. Me and Kenneth. This is the new home we purchased. I mean, it's amazing how we walked in and we happened to see the house with Kennedy. And when she walked in, she didn't want to leave. So and I've had all kind of, I mean, just the time we've had to be able to come in and decorate it and do the things that we wanted to do, have all kind of little weekend projects. That's our master bedroom. The house didn't have any type of drapery in it, but the entire back of the house is all glass, and they had all these blinds. I took all them blinds down. I mean, I'm like, this is the most wonderful part of the house. You want to be able to see it. Just so peaceful. And of course, my little angel, we had to put her room in there, and it is incredible. She doesn't live with us, but she's here all the time. We have guest room. We can't wait until our friends, we can't wait to Renee and Mel and different ones, and we can visit. All I got to do is call. We got a home right here in the New Orleans area. This is the office that I'm sitting in right now, my home office that I've worked in for the last year. My grandbaby wanted a home theater, so we got a media room, a theater. We watch movies, eat popcorn. Just incredible to be able to have something in your heart, to go to work for a few years, put your head down, and then God creates an opportunity that you can go out and make a decision to do it. This is our family room. We watch most of the Saints games. Even during the pandemic, we had our mask on. Kenneth had his brothers to start coming over, a few months ago, and just had a great time. And the most wonderful part of this property is it sits on a golf course. And the golf course, I mean, it didn't have a pool, but this home sits on the water. And I'm like, the minute we moved in, within 30 days, we had the people to come out and dig a pool and put decking. So when you walk out this is how our backyard looks. The house sits on a lake, with a pool right in front of it. I just know that whatever is in your heart, you had the mind to think of it, it means it can happen. And all it sometimes takes is a few dollars. And you can go out here and you can make dreams come true. So I'm thankful that Renee and Stephanie helped me get on and share our story. And I hope it inspires and provokes you to just go do and be all you can be also.
I'm coming to visit too, Joyce.
Yes, you're welcome. We can't wait to have you, Stephanie. You're right.
I'm coming.
That is awesome.
Beautiful.
Man, Joyclen, in just a few minutes, I'm going to let people unmute and really let you know how much they appreciate what you shared. I love that. Get the faith to go for it. You got to activate the faith, have possibility thinking. That berry better have my name on it as soon as it says to travel. But guys, what a business and what a life you can have, right? So just recapping what we've talked about today. You can have spiritual prosperity, right? Know who you are, speak who you are, and do what you were created to do, right? You can have physical prosperity. Make sure you're taking care of that temple. And guys, financial prosperity, activating the principles that Stephanie shared. So look, leaving this webinar today, one thing that you need to do, reach out to the person that invited you so you can get your financial game plan done, so you can make sure all the levels of your financial house are in order so that you really will be able to have the financial prosperity that you desire to have, right? Don't get this information and do nothing with it. Let them know, hey, I need to get my financial game plan done. I need to make sure my financial house is in order. And then lastly, guys, is man, we're looking for ambitious, motivated, sharp women who just want to have an avenue to be who you are, to work when you want to work, to be able to work from home, right? To be able to bring in extra income. We've got part-time people, making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. Awesome women working out of mine, Stephanie's office, making that kind of money part-time. Cheryl Wilson, Darlene Liston, Delphine Chenault, Dr. LaShawna Bryant, right? Felicia Cornegay. What could you do with an extra $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month? You could change your life. You could change your life. If you love your job and you want to stay on your job, great. But you could add on another stream of revenue, make an extra 20, 30, 40, 50,000 a year part-time and invest that money and become totally financially free. Or maybe you're more like me. I hated my job, right? And you're like, man, I want to fire my boss. Then you can start part-time, and within just 12 to 18 months, you heard Joyce did it in a year, you can make enough money to prove to yourself part-time that I can do this. I can make this a career. And you can become a vice president, have your own financial services agency. And now you call the shots. You're the boss. I told you guys, not long after I made this my full-time career and became a vice president, I had my second daughter, and I was nursing her, right? And I wasn't ready to put her in any kind of a daycare. I could take her to the office with me every day because it was my office, right? Because I was in control. And then, guys, as they got older, I paid the price. Wasn't there for all the things that that happened at night because I was helping families. But man, I could be during the day. I could be the room mom. I could be at the school anytime I wanted to be, right? I could just be available to them to be the mom that I wanted to be and not have to ask off on a job. Even though I was on salary, they knew how many days I'd taken off. They knew when I came. They knew when I left. All of you guys that are executives, that are managers, don't get it twisted. You're still not free. They were both athletes, and as they got older and started playing sports, my oldest daughter and I were texting back and forth today because she was a basketball player, volleyball and basketball, state championship in volleyball and basketball. We went to the women's Final Four every year when she was in high school and saw the most elite women basketball players in the world every year. New Orleans, Boston, Indianapolis. And she texted me and said, Mom, as I'm sitting here watching the Final Four, I just want to thank you when I was in high school for taking me to the Final Four, taking me to the tournament. I got to see all these women play when they were in college, before they went pro, before they became coaches, right? And then our younger daughter, also an athlete, state championship in volleyball, being able to support her interests as well. Guys, I'm telling you, all the things you want, you can have in this business. I can't tell you you're going to get them on a job. We can show you how to make an extra 20, 30, 40, 50,000, and you'll have a chance to build financial freedom. But no job will love you the way you love that job. No job will ever pay you what you're worth. And when you're ready, right, you can start part-time, right? And when you're ready, if you get ready, you can make a career change that'll change your life. So we're looking for women leaders, women that are ambitious, motivated, love helping people. And man, you ready to change your life. You need to make more money in 2021 in order to have a shot to have financial prosperity. So contact the person that invited you on this webinar and let them know, look, I don't just need the financial plan, the wealth building plan in terms of my financial game plan. I need the business plan. I need to add another stream of revenue, right? I need to see how I can work my way out of this job. And guys, I'm telling you, anything worth having requires work, but I can tell you my career in Primerica, this is true. You cannot dream bigger than Primerica can deliver. As big as your dreams are, the business opportunity here is bigger than your dreams, right? It was big enough to encapsulate, the ability for Joyclen to have that dream home, that beautiful home, right? It's big enough for your dreams to come true. And so, guys, as we get ready to wrap up, I want to speak life over you. You're awesome. You're incredible. You're beautiful, right? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are worthy. You have a voice that deserves to be heard. You deserve the best. You deserve wealth. Why does anybody else deserve wealth and you don't deserve wealth, right? You deserve to be able to bless your family and the people you love when you want, in the amount of money that you want, guys. You deserve it all. But it's not going to be given to you. You got to go out there and fight for it. I hope y'all are excited. Put a smile on your face and just let me know. Are you excited, right? You guys unmute yourself so you can give our incredible guest speaker, Joyclen Prevost, a big TMM thank you. Let her know how much you appreciate.
Thank you, Joyclen. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss
That
Prevost.
was
Thank
Always
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Always
That was
outstanding.
Two of you.
Thank you.
Powerful.
Really
great job.
appreciate it.
So for all of our guests, it's time for you to make a move. It's time for you to make a move. Text the person that invited you. They're about to text you. Get your wealth building plan started. Join this team. It doesn't matter if you know for sure what you want to do with it. You will never regret the financial education, the licenses that you're going to get just by giving it a try. So get started in the business and begin your fight for prosperity. God has great things planned for you.
Yes.
Awesome.
So true. Oh,
So you
praise.
guys, give it up for Stephanie. Give it up for yourselves and for this.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Way to go, ladies.
Great event.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all have a great afternoon.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
You guys. Love you, Renee. Love you, Stephanie. Awesome TMM.
Love you too, Joyclen.
Thank you all so much.